Hey folks, we're still out here literally chasing these fish around on Devil's Lake, and we're trying for some perch, and everybody is telling us, all the guides included, that the bite is incredibly tough, and I'm here to tell you they're correct. But we're playing around with some new technology, and even though we're not catching any fish as of yet, I tell you what, I have learned a ton in the last 10 minutes. We put down Garmin's LiveScope system, and we can spin around, and we got that set for about a 60-foot range, and we're marking these perch, and quite frankly they're moving quickly. And we popped a bunch of holes around here, and they're just blowing by our baits. A matter of fact, we were just studying the screen before we turned on the camera and marking a fish over by one of the holes. Walk over, look at the Vexilar, sure enough it's under the bait, move the bait, and it moves on. What it's telling us is these fish are definitely on the move. They're tough to get to stop. I found this many years ago when we used to fish Waubay in South Dakota, another expansive, glacial, flooded slough type lake, for lack of a better term. It seems like when these fish are moving, particularly the perch, they're not wanting to stop for anything. And I've also noticed too, is on any given day, say they're going north, you can be on one portion of the lake and literally be several miles away and find fish again, and they're all going the same direction. Once again, hard to stop. We just had one blow right on by here. But we are picking up a lot of knowledge here on this. If we can figure out how to make them stop and catch a few, would be great. But the moral of the story is, even when you're not catching fish, there's always something to learn. At some point down the line, this will help fill in a piece of a puzzle, and we'll get on fish, hopefully today. If not, we pick something up. You know, I just said I was setting the camera down. As soon as I set it down and grabbed the rod, this happened. And if this is a perch, granted this is a light rod, this is probably a fair fish. I'm not in any hurry. As tough as it's been, I don't want to, there you come with me, really lose any. Oh yeah. Just nice fat fish. And once again, the victories in and I did stick him in learning what to do with these fish, because quite frankly, standard tactics, you know, fishing spoons and so forth, you'd have never got one of these fish. Even standard electronics, I mean, we literally have been scanning and panning around in a circle to find these fish. Drilled several holes, got on them, started playing with them, and now we're getting them. And just curious on size on that. That's a good 12-inch fish anyway, so that's a nice fish. With that, we're going to get our lines back down, see if we can't capitalize on this. Going to take and pass along what we've had to resort to here to get these fish, and this is a tiny HT tungsten, I believe it's a Marmuska jig here, but putting a whole waxworm on there, quite frankly, even with a spring bobber, they're just ever so slightly tugging on it, could not get them hooked. So what I've taken to doing is I'm just threading that on there, just in the hook gap there. And it's even hard, I have no fingernails, but with fingernails you kind of squash it, and just taking the scissors, nipping his back off of there. And if we can see what it looks like in the water, but what it is, it's just a tiny package. And that's just going to kind of flip around as I wave that around with the spring bobber. And that has been hooking them pretty darn consistently now. As you can see that in the water, I mean, that just looks dynamite. Just shakes there. And with that cutting net, you're also getting all the fresh juices right out of that thing. And as we go on through the day here, I've got a 500 count tub here. If I have fish come in and they don't hit it, I'm going to reel it up and peel the old one off, put a new one on, and do that slice and dice thing to them. And all right, we're still plugging away here. We found a couple small perch, and some of the other participants have found a few small perch as well. It's getting after 4 o'clock here, kind of getting into that witching hour, sunset type of thing. So what we're going to do here is we're going to slide up a little shallower and try for some walleyes. You can see the number of rods we've had out, trying a little bit of everything to coax these fish into going. They've been proven pretty darn lethargic, but you know, we got to do what you guys got to do to try to get them here. So we'll give her a few more minutes, and I guess, wait a minute. Need help with the transducer, or is he gonna avoid it? You know, it's taking a while. We're in 47 foot of water here, so that explains that. There you go. Okay, not a bad perch, just a nice eater sized perch here. So with that, maybe not look a gift horse in the mouth, maybe call that our perch bite, wrap up on a positive note. Well folks, we're getting towards the end of the day here. Been up here for a couple days on Devil's Lake, had a great time. Super people, the hospitality is second to none. Special shout out to Woodland Resort, Cobblestone Inn, where we stayed in town itself. Guide Ansel Reynolds, who helped get us on the fish. We kind of did a little pre-fishing before this Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Riders event with him, got into some walleyes there. You can tell just by their surroundings here, we're in some really funky, heavy, foggy, just moist weather. We have not seen the sun in days. It has not helped this bite at all, but I tell you, we did learn a lot. We're using our electronics, particularly the scanning type electronics with the LiveScope system. Hopefully some of that got passed along to you. Darn sure do not be afraid to embrace this modern technology. It doesn't hurt to pick up a new product every now and then again. It does help, without a doubt. That being said, stay tuned. Our next outing is going to be on Lake of the Woods. Paul and Brandy Johnson, Riverbend Resort. Should be a multi-species affair. Going to run out on some big water, chase some bigger fish. I'm very much looking forward to it. Stay tuned, see what we can come up with for that one.